They told us to move on. They told us the investigation was closed. They told us Charlie Kirk's death was a tragedy. Nothing more. But last night, Candace Owens shattered that narrative forever. In a blistering livestream that has already been banned from 3 platforms and reposted by thousands, Candace didn't just suggest something was wrong, she flat out said, Turning Point USA lied. Again, the internet is in full-blown meltdown. Screenshots, internal memos, private voice notes Candace claims to have received from inside TPUSA itself. And the phrase she kept repeating? They lied about Charlie. They're still lying. But this time, she named names. And this time, she has receipts. The timing couldn't be more explosive. Just days after new DNA documents dropped questions about Charlie's legacy, Candace has entered the storm with a firebomb of her own, accusing TPUSA's executive team of covering up Charlie's final days, altering documents, and worst of all, silencing Charlie's family. And her evidence? A confidential email chain dated just 48 hours before Charlie's collapse, sent to a mysterious internal contact referred to only as the gatekeeper. Who is the gatekeeper? And what were they trying to bury? Because according to Candace, Charlie was planning to break from TPUSA, and someone in that building knew it. You're about to hear details they never wanted leaked. And by the time you finish this story, you'll never look at TPUSA or Erica Kirk the same way again. It's easy to forget that Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk used to be inseparable. They were the power duo of conservative youth culture, fist-pumping on college stages, echoing each other's punchlines, and preaching a gospel of boldness, loyalty, and free speech. But behind the applause and coordinated outfits, something darker had started brewing. Something Candace never dared speak about until now. Their partnership began like most viral stories do, fast, loud, and profitable. Candace brought raw fire. Charlie brought strategy. Together, they turned TPUSA from a fringe campus project into a global brand. But behind closed doors, insiders say Candace wasn't just Charlie's peer, she was his protector. She defended him when establishment donors raised eyebrows. She stood between him and media scandals. She cleaned up the messes he didn't even know he made. But that loyalty came with a cost. Because as TPUSA expanded, new faces entered the picture: advisors, pastors, spiritual consultants, and eventually, Erica. And according to one former TPUSA scheduler, everything changed the moment Erica Kirk arrived. Suddenly, Charlie wasn't reachable. His calendar was being managed through Erica. His speeches were rewritten with prophetic language. And Candace? She was pushed further and further away. At first, she stayed silent. For Charlie's sake. For optics. For unity. But silence didn't stop what was happening behind the scenes. According to leaked voice memos between early TPUSA staffers, Candace was raising concerns about Erica's growing influence months before the marriage. In one memo, she allegedly says, "I don't know what's going on, but Charlie's not himself. He's letting people script him. People with their own agendas." Nobody listened. When Charlie and Erica tied the knot, Candace was invited, but only through a third party. She was told it would be a small spiritual ceremony. But the event ended up on the front page of multiple conservative platforms, with Candace nowhere in sight. She didn't attend, and from that moment on, she began to pull back. She stopped appearing in TPUSA promo material. Her podcast distanced itself. She quietly removed TPUSA branding from her studio, and for months the public didn't notice. But behind the curtain, she was collecting receipts. Because according to sources close to Candace, she knew something was wrong. In private group texts, some now leaked, she warned mutual contacts. "Mark my words, there's going to be a cover-up. Charlie's in too deep. They're isolating him. I don't trust the people around him anymore." One of the most chilling texts came just 4 days before Charlie's sudden collapse. "If something happens to him, don't let them make Erica a saint. She's not innocent." At the time, it sounded like paranoia. Now, it sounds like prophecy, because since Charlie's death, Candace has kept quiet, out of grief, out of fear, maybe even out of pressure. But something changed last week. An envelope. a flash drive, a message. Sources close to Candace claim she was handed a sealed file by a former TPUSA employee who claimed to have been blacklisted after questioning Erica's access to internal communications. The contents of that file? A chain of internal emails exchanged between TPUSA's top legal team, Erica Kirk, and an unknown executive assistant referred to only as GW. The subject line? Contingency Protocol. Inheritance Language Finalization. The date? 2 days before Charlie died. Inside those emails were attachments outlining updates to Charlie's will, his IP ownership, and the spiritual transition of TPUSA's public messaging. There was even a document titled Legacy Reassignment Plan, which appeared to formalize Erica as the singular prophetic voice of the Kirk mantle. Charlie never signed those documents, but Erica did, digitally, from his account. And that's when Candace broke. She confronted the TPUSA board privately. She demanded answers. She asked if Charlie had authorized these moves. No one responded. And then came the final insult. At a private memorial event where Candace had been scheduled to speak, her name was removed from the program the night before. No warning, no explanation. She showed up. She was seated in the 5th row. No one spoke to her. And when Erica took the mic, Candace walked out. The cameras didn't catch it, but the whispers did. And now, she's not whispering anymore, because what Candace Owens just dropped makes Erica's DNA scandal look like child's play. She's accusing TPUSA of altering records, forging legacy documents, silencing staff, and worst of all, erasing Charlie's final attempts to leave the organization. She claims to have audio recordings, chat logs, and eyewitness testimony. And one of those witnesses says Charlie tried to transfer control of his private email the night before he died, but the password was changed by someone else, someone inside. Candace hasn't released the full recordings yet, but what she has said already is enough to shake the movement to its core. Because according to her, Charlie Kirk didn't die on accident. He died with secrets. Secrets TPUSA was desperate to keep buried. And now, the grave is cracking open. Candace Owens didn't just go live. She detonated a bomb. At exactly 8:03 p.m., her live stream counter began ticking upward faster than anyone had ever seen on her platform. Tens of thousands flooded in within seconds, then hundreds of thousands. Comments shot past so quickly they formed a blur. Hearts, flames, skull emojis, accusations, praises, and an avalanche of, "What did TPUSA lie about? What are you about to expose?" Candace sat there in total silence for the first 30 seconds, eyes locked to the camera, shoulders tense, jaw clenched. Not enraged, not emotional, focused. And before she spoke, she reached down, picked up a thick file folder, and held it beside her face. This is the file they never wanted anyone to see. The chat exploded. People begged. People screamed. People panicked. And Candace waited until the entire internet was hanging on her breath before she continued. "I worked with Charlie Kirk for nearly a decade. I knew his habits. I knew his voice. I knew when he was stressed, when he was hiding something, and when he was being cornered. And what I'm about to show you tonight confirms one thing. Charlie Kirk was lied to, manipulated, and betrayed by the very organization he built." The word betrayed sent a shockwave through the live stream, but she wasn't done. Candace pulled out the first document, an internal email thread printed on crisp, white paper. At the top corner, blurred names, blurred timestamps. But one thing wasn't blurred. Subject: concerns regarding CK transition strategy. The email, allegedly sent by a TPUSA legal advisor to a senior board member, had a line highlighted in yellow. "If Charlie decides to step away, our fallback should be ready. The forward-facing representative must appear spiritually connected to the Kirk brand." Forward-facing representative. Spiritually connected. Fallback. Everyone knew who that meant. Erica. Candace tapped the document. This email was sent while Charlie was alive, while he was planning to distance himself from the organization, and no one told him. Her voice cracked, not out of sadness, but fury. They didn't want him stepping away. They wanted control of the brand he built, and they used Erica as the shield. Then she dropped the second document. This one wasn't blurred. A transcript of a closed-door meeting between two TPUSA executives, again highlighted. Charlie has become increasingly unstable. His desire to step back jeopardizes the forward momentum of legacy projects. Unstable. Step back. Legacy projects. Candace leaned forward. Charlie wasn't unstable. He was overwhelmed. He was exhausted. He was being spiritually suffocated by people who wanted to turn him into a symbol instead of letting him be a human. The chat WEPT. Users wrote, "Candace, please drop everything. This is a crime. Expose Erica now. TPUSA needs to be investigated. This is worse than we imagined." And then, Candace's expression shifted. She swallowed. Looked down. Looked back up. You could feel the tension leave her chest as she exhaled sharply. "Charlie sent me a message. The night before he died." The world stopped. The number of live stream viewers doubled in less than a minute. Candace slowly lifted her phone. "I'm going to play his voice note." Her finger hovered over the screen. The chat begged her to play it. Then, click. Charlie's voice came through the speakers. Shaky. Breathless. Afraid. "Candace, something is wrong. They're pushing me into something I don't want. Documents. Contracts. Commitments. Erica says I'm being disobedient. I don't feel safe. Call me when you can." The note ended abruptly. Candace closed her eyes for a moment, as if reliving the exact moment she first heard it. "I didn't call him fast enough." Her voice trembled just slightly. But what she said next stunned even her harshest critics. "I confronted TPUSA about this message. They told me it was fake. They told me Charlie never recorded it. They said I misinterpreted the audio." She slammed her hand on the table, and then they asked me to delete it. The chat nearly broke YouTube servers. Comments flashed like lightning. "What? Delete? Why? This is a cover-up. Candace is putting her life on the line." Candace didn't flinch. Instead, she held up a screenshot of a text conversation between her and a senior TPUSA official messages, clearly showing them insisting the audio is spiritually misleading, and it's unwise for you to keep that recording. Unwise. Spiritually misleading. Candace practically spit those words out. They didn't want that message to exist because it proves Charlie was scared. It proves he felt pressured. It proves he wanted out. And if Charlie walked away, Erica would lose her grip on the narrative. TPUSA would lose its symbolic leader. Donors would start asking questions. Money would shift. Everything would crumble. Then came the real bombshell. Candace revealed that Charlie had tried to change his primary email password hours before he died. His security log showed 2 attempts. One unsuccessful attempt by Charlie. One successful attempt by someone logged in from Erica's home address. The chat went fully feral. Candace read the final log entry aloud. Password reset successful. Logged in as CK. Changes applied. Then silence. Not silence in the live stream, no. Millions of comments were flying. But silence from Candace. She set the papers down slowly. Her lips pressed tightly together. Charlie was locked out of his own account. Someone took control. Someone changed his access. And that was the last recorded digital movement before his death. She stared into the lens. Deep, unblinking, fractured and furious. "So yes, I'm saying what everyone else is too afraid to admit. TPUSA lied. They lied to protect themselves. They lied to protect Erica. They lied about Charlie's final hours. And they're still lying." You could feel the world tilt. People screenshotting. People crying. People screaming in caps lock. Former staffers spilling confessions in real time. Anonymous whistleblowers sending Candace new files while she was live. It was the biggest scandal TPUSA had ever faced. But Candace wasn't done. She ended the stream with one final earth-shattering line. "If they think this ends tonight, they're wrong. Because I still have one more recording. And when I play it, Erica will never be able to hide again." She ended the stream. 3 million people were left staring at a blank screen. And none of them knew that the next revelation would change everything. Less than 12 hours after Candace Owens shut off her camera, the ripple effects hit like a shockwave across every platform, inbox, boardroom, and megachurch from Arizona to Washington, D.C. TPUSA's silence was deafening. No rebuttal. No press statement. No denial. Not even Erica. For someone who had once uploaded a tearful tribute video within 24 hours of Charlie's death, Erica's total disappearance was louder than any live stream. But the internet didn't stay quiet. Hashtags exploded. Number Charlie was silenced. Number TPUSA exposed. Number Erica knew. Number Owens vs Erica. Reddit forums broke into digital warfare. TikTok creators dissected Candace's livestream frame by frame. Instagram pages posted collages. Charlie's face beside Candace's warning texts. Erica's wedding photo next to the email with the phrase, "Legacy Reassignment Plan." And then, the second recording dropped. It didn't come from Candace. It came from inside TPUSA. Posted anonymously to an encrypted messaging platform, the audio file was labeled Erica, Kirk, Internal, Meeting, Final. MP3. Length: 5 minutes, 44 seconds. The speaker? Erica. The setting? A recorded Zoom call with 2 executive board members' identities redacted. Erica's tone? Unrecognizable. Gone was the soft-spoken widow cloaked in white linen and scripture. This was cold, strategic, ruthless. We're moving forward. The death was tragic, but we can't let that fracture the narrative. We must consolidate the brand. The donors will follow legacy, not trauma. Then, Candace is a liability. If she speaks, we cut ties and flood her with counter-testimony. It's unfortunate, but necessary. One of the other voices hesitated. Do you think she'll actually go public? Erica responded with bone-chilling confidence. She won't. She doesn't have the guts. And if she does, we'll bury her in righteous language. The world heard that line and paused. Bury her in righteous language. It echoed across every platform like prophecy fulfilled. Candace hadn't just gone public. She had burned the gate they tried to keep her behind. And now, TPUSA was splintering. The internal TPUSA Slack channel went into lockdown. Employees were issued legal advisories reminding them of their NDAs. Donors began requesting refunds. Booking agents began canceling Erica's speaking engagements. Some churches who had once printed Erica's mantle and motherhood devotionals began removing them from bookstore shelves. And then, a new character entered the picture. A former TPUSA junior staffer. Young. Anonymous. But verified. She came forward under the name Blair. In a raw, tear-filled video posted to X, Blair claimed she witnessed Erica blocking Charlie's calendar appointments weeks before his death and denying access to friends. Candace had tried to connect with him, but the most disturbing detail? He tried to schedule a digital audit of his TPUSA account. He said he didn't trust who was logging into his files. Erica found out, and suddenly, the meeting was gone. Cancelled, and his calendar was full of new spiritual obligations instead. When asked who added those appointments, only Erica had back-end access. The audience was stunned. Candace retweeted the clip with a single caption, "There it is." Then something wild happened. A former TPUSA donor came forward with documents of their own. A woman named Dr. Eleanor Haskins, who had previously donated over $150,000 to Erica's women's ministry platform, uploaded a scanned letter she received after Charlie's death. The letter included a direct quote from Erica. "Charlie passed the mantle to me before he transitioned. He told me, 'You are the future of this vision. Protect it at all costs.'" Dr. Haskins wrote below it, "That never sounded like Charlie, not once. I regret giving my money to this lie." The letter was dated 5 days after his death, but Erica had already started claiming the mantle was passed. Before the will had been executed, before the autopsy was complete, before the truth could breathe. And just when Erica's silence was beginning to crack, she re-emerged. She posted a grainy, black and white Instagram reel, no audio, no narration, just a slow zoom on an open Bible, a lit candle, and a single phrase scrawled across the video in a typewriter font. God doesn't speak through gossip, He speaks through glory. But the world wasn't listening, because the documents kept coming. One by one, former staffers, donors, and even Erica's former podcast producer began leaking files. draft sermons written by someone else, signed with Erica's name, deleted travel logs placing Erica at the same wellness retreat as a well-known spiritual influencer accused of manipulation, a canceled airline ticket that shows Erica was supposed to fly to Florida for a crisis brand meeting the same day Candace went live. But the biggest blow? A subpoena. Candace Owens posted it to her story with the caption, "TPUSA, you brought this on yourselves." The subpoena demanded all internal communication involving legacy reassignment documents, any financial transfers to Erica's LLCs dated within 3 months of Charlie's passing, audio, video files tied to Erica's internal Zoom calls. Candace's followers cheered, TPUSA's lawyers panicked, and Erica posted a Bible verse with the caption, "The Lord fights for me." But the internet wasn't fighting her. It was preparing to bury her brand. Multiple major Christian media platforms removed Erica's devotional podcast from syndication. Booking agents demanded contract reviews. Even political advisors tied to the GOP began issuing cautious statements. We respect Erica's right to grieve, but emerging information suggests serious improprieties that we are monitoring closely. And then, the final twist of the night. Candace released one last audio message. Not Charlie, not Erica, Mikey McCoy, the very man implicated in Erica's baby scandal. His voice, ragged, broken, desperate. "I knew Charlie wanted out. I knew. I tried to tell her to slow down. I told her the mantle wasn't ready. But she said, it's not about readiness. It's about alignment. And then she told me, when a vessel resists the mantle, God removes him." That audio spread like wildfire. And with it, one chilling truth emerged. Erica didn't just claim the mantle. She may have planned for it. And TPUSA, they helped her do it. But there's still one more secret left. Because buried inside the leaked documents is a contract labeled Covenant Continuation. And what that contract says could be the final nail in this entire empire. By dawn, everything was in free fall. The name Erica Kirk no longer evoked reverence or grief. It evoked outrage, suspicion, and, increasingly, terror. Her image, once used to sell Bibles, marriage retreats, purity rings, and motherhood devotionals, was now plastered across Reddit with captions like, "Fraud and white lace. The mantle of manipulation. From widow to architect of a legacy lie." The backlash was unlike anything TPUSA had ever seen. Their entire donor base fractured overnight. Major conservative backers, some of whom had given 6- and 7-figure donations annually, pulled out immediately. One mega donor sent a blistering letter to the board. "You lied to us about Charlie's wishes. You protected Erica despite red flags. You used his name to push a woman who was never chosen by him, only by herself." The letter was leaked to Breitbart, then reposted by Candace, then read aloud on Fox Nation by a former TPUSA spokesperson who said she couldn't keep the silence anymore. That same day, 4 other women who worked closely with Erica behind the scenes released a joint statement accusing her of emotional manipulation, theological gaslighting, spiritual grooming, under the guise of mantle preparation. One of them shared this direct quote from Erica, spoken during a private women's leadership call. "A man's death doesn't end a ministry. A womb does not wait for approval. It creates legacy by force." The quote was so explosive, so darkly layered, that it quickly went viral, turned into memes, TikTok dramatizations, and even t-shirts. But the backlash wasn't just digital. It went institutional. Liberty University, longtime partner of Erica's women's platform, revoked her honorary theology certificate and pulled her off an upcoming convocation schedule. A well-known Christian publishing house canceled her book deal. Even TPUSA itself started posting subtle signs of collapse. Their website briefly went down. When it came back up, Erica's name was removed from all continuing legacy pages. Board members went quiet. Interns started leaking group chats. One message read, "We were told if anyone asked about Charlie's departure plans, we were to say he had full faith in Erica's leadership." Another said, "They're panicking. The documents were real. Charlie was exiting. They just never thought Candace would have the guts to go public." But Candace, she wasn't just public. She was omnipresent. Every podcast, every reel, every YouTube thumbnail. Influencers who once sided with Erica were deleting old tweets and editing captions. Some even made apology videos to Charlie's parents. And Charlie's parents? They held their own press conference. No branding, no filters, just them, raw. Charlie's mother stepped to the mic holding her son's Bible. This was his voice, not Erica, not TPUSA, not the mantle. This was his legacy. Then she held up a printed copy of the Covenant Continuation Contract. It had Erica's signature. It had the TPUSA logo. It outlined a plan to transition public power to Erica's ministry within 14 days of Charlie's death. The clause that broke everyone? In the event of CK's transition to eternity, legacy obligations and associated donor communications will be spiritually assumed by EK for public preservation. Candace reposted it with a caption. This wasn't grief. It was succession. Conservative news outlets long silenced or threatened by TPUSA, legal threats finally opened the floodgates. Daily Wire ran a headline. The inheritance was digital. Inside the cover-up of Charlie Kirk's final days. Blaze TV released a 2-hour exposé titled Prophets, Passwords, and the Protocol to Silence a Leader. And then, a twist no one expected. GOP campaign strategists began distancing themselves from TPUSA. Privately, one RNC insider leaked this message. We can't have Erica anywhere near the 2026 landscape. The base is turning. She's radioactive. By the end of the week, even mega-church pastors who had praised Erica began walking back their endorsements. One of the loudest, Pastor Alan Reed, who once called Erica Esther Reborn, deleted every video with her name and issued a statement. We were fooled. The mantle was never hers to carry. It was forced. And the Lord does not bless manipulation. Meanwhile, Erica tried to reclaim the narrative just once. She posted a low-resolution video on a quiet platform. She sat in silence for a full minute, then whispered, God's chosen are always stoned first, but they rise again. No names, no denial, just vague martyrdom. But this time, the public wasn't buying it. Underneath her post, over 30,000 comments, most saying one thing, you used him. And yet, despite the pressure, the lawsuits, the leaks, and the growing investigations, Erica didn't delete her accounts. She didn't cancel her LLCs. She didn't go underground. Because Erica Kirk isn't finished. She's already rebranding. Her ministry name has been quietly changed from Widow's Mantle to The Covenant Continues. And rumor has it, she's building a new team, new donors, new strategists, and yes, a new spiritual partner. Because someone's name just showed up in newly leaked travel records tied to Erica's ministry accounts. And if it's who we think it is, Charlie's betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was engineered. It was a name no one expected. A connection no one predicted, but a digital trail always tells the truth. And this one? It led straight to the one man Charlie Kirk himself once said he would never trust again, Mickey McCoy. That's right. The same Mickey McCoy, former TPUSA operations director, longtime friend turned foe, and the very man previously caught in an alleged private affair with a male spiritual advisor during a donor retreat in Miami. Charlie had distanced himself from Mickey years ago. Privately, he was furious. Publicly, he was silent. But according to leaked Signal messages, Erica wasn't. Because as it turns out, Erica Kirk and Mickey McCoy reconnected just 3 weeks after Charlie's death. At first, it was subtle. Shared appearances at events, private dinners under the guise of strategic prayer planning, joint financial transfers from TPUSA's Shadow LLC, Mantle Forward Fund, into a newly formed consultancy, Legacy Advisors Collective. The registered names on the paperwork? E. Kirk, M. McCoy. The documents were leaked by a whistleblower accountant inside the collective who said they were instructed to process non-disclosed prophetic compensation packages to select speakers before public rollout. The catch? These payments were being sent months before Erica ever made her "I'm stepping away to grieve" video. She wasn't stepping back. She was setting up. But why Mickey? Why now? One theory began spreading fast. A Reddit user with archived TPUSA board documents revealed that Mickey McCoy had retained intellectual property rights over select fundraising templates, internal marketing language, and donor segmentation tools that Charlie refused to sign off on. But Erica? She wanted access. And Mickey had the keys. In return, sources believe Erica offered him restoration, a platform, a re-entry into the movement he was once exiled from, and possibly more. Because leaked airport logs show Erica and Mickey flew to Casablanca together last year. The same mystery trip tied to Erica's suspected out-of-country birthing center scandal. The same trip tied to the alias, Boaz. The same trip Charlie's parents were investigating before being legally stonewalled. And now, there's video. A newly surfaced surveillance clip from a private hotel compound in Morocco. Grainy, time-stamped, but unmistakable. It shows Erica hair-covered, sunglasses on, entering a private villa. Behind her, Mickey McCoy. The footage is dated 12 days before Charlie's final speaking engagement. That's not a coincidence. That's planning. And it doesn't end there. According to an internal memo from Erica's now defunct women's circle, the covenant continues. There was one line that left investigators frozen. Legacy must be protected by a remnant. Mickey carries redemption. The union is being consecrated in quiet until the fire passes. Union, consecration, the fire. What fire? Charlie's collapse? Candace's expose? Or the final scandal they hoped no one would notice? Because just hours before this script was being recorded, a marriage license application was filed in a rural Colorado courthouse. Names redacted. But the notarization timestamp matches the exact hour Erica's private plane touched down nearby. And the final signature? M. McCoy. One line of that application was leaked to a small blog before it was scrubbed. Applicant affirms covenantal alignment and shared vision for spiritual rebuilding. And now we're left with the unthinkable. Erica may be marrying the man Charlie once called his greatest ministry betrayal, and the same man who, according to Candace, helped redirect key internal funds right after Charlie's death. If true, this isn't a scandal anymore. This is a hostile takeover disguised in worship lyrics and white linen. Charlie's memory? Buried. TPUSA's credibility? Obliterated. And Erica? Crowned again, not as a widow, but as the architect of her own prophetic dynasty. The internet is spinning. Churches are scrambling. Candace is preparing one final drop. And Charlie's parents? They've gone radio silent just as a new lawsuit begins forming. Because there's one more document, still sealed, that lawyers are fighting to get unredacted. Charlie's original resignation letter, drafted 11 days before he died. And in it, he names names and says one thing that could destroy Erica's entire empire. They took everything from me before I could leave. I trusted Erica, but I'm starting to think I was chosen for something I never agreed to. And with that, the cliffhanger seals shut. But the war is just getting started. So now we know, Charlie Kirk was never just a leader. He was a symbol, and symbols, when no longer convenient, are replaced. Candace Owens tried to warn us. Charlie's parents begged us to pay attention. But we were too distracted by Erica's tears, too hypnotized by white dresses and scripture-soaked speeches. Until now. Now we've seen the receipts. Now we've heard Charlie's voice begging for help. We've read the documents, heard Erica's whispers on Zoom, seen Mickey McCoy emerge from the shadows again. And still, the lies keep unraveling. So here's the question. Do you believe Erica Kirk built her ministry on truth? Or on Charlie's silence? Do you believe TPUSA protected her or helped her? Do you believe this baby, this covenant, this mantle was ever prophetic? Or was it all strategic? Was this a spiritual marriage? Or was Charlie the first casualty of an engineered legacy transfer? Drop your comments right now. We need your voices. We need your theories. We need to hear from those who were once Erica's defenders. Where do you stand now? And if you're still defending her after this, explain why. Because the next video, the next leak, could destroy what little defense she has left. Rumor has it Erica left behind a personal journal, not just audio, handwritten, raw, dark, and someone just handed it to Candace. The next chapter? The Erica Files. From wife, to widow, to weapon. It's coming. And if even half of it's true, Charlie Kirk didn't lose his life. He was removed. Make sure you're here when it drops. Hit subscribe. Like if you believe Candace did the right thing. Share this video with someone who still thinks Erica is untouchable. And ask them, if Erica loved him, why did she need a contingency plan before he died? The truth has only just begun.